Okay, I thought now would be a good time to shoot a update video. There's kind of been some developments in my torque converter and transmission um, area of the car, so I'll get into that and give you guys a heads up on what's been going on. You can see the wiring project is still going. It's slow going, but I'm still making progress on it, so it just gets a little tedious at times. But anyways, back to the converter. So this was a 4200 stall. This is a C6 style non-lockup converter. It's made by Precision out of New Hampton, Iowa. It's not the Precision converters that most people think of when they're talking about a drag racing converter, but it's been a fantastic converter for me all the time that I've owned it. I think it started out life as a 3500. I sent it back to them. They restalled it to a 4200. And I sent it back to them again over the winter to have them restall it to a 5200. Because we decided at the end of last year that we felt like the converter needed to be loosened up a little bit more. So anyways, so I pulled the converter out and sent it to them, and they said they could guarantee that it would stall somewhere between 4900 to 5200. So I said, okay, that's fine. That's close enough. So anyways, so they got the converter, they cut it open, and they called me. And they said, hey, listen, man, we don't know what you've been doing with this converter, but when we cut it open and started looking at the insides, we realized it's destroyed inside there. So what ended up happening, I guess, is there's a roller bearing inside here. And I don't know if there's how many bearing setups there are inside this thing, but anyways, there's a roller bearing set up in here that broke. So they said it sent bits and pieces all through the converter, and it just destroyed the converter. It destroyed it so bad, they said that the only part that they were able to reuse was the billet rear cover. Everything else went straight in the trash. So what originally started as just a couple $100 restall turned into an over $700 complete rebuild of the converter. So, but at least now it's rebuilt, it's fresh, and it's ready to go back in the car. So after I got that news from them, I got to thinking, well, if there's all this garbage inside my converter, then what are the odds that there's a bunch of garbage inside the transmission itself? So now I'm sending the transmission out to get disassembled and gone through. So my buddy Rich, who rebuilt the transmission, got it all taken apart. He broke it down, and he said, hey man, the transmission looks fantastic. And when I drained the fluid out of it, the fluid looked great. It wasn't burnt, beautiful color, no parts and pieces in the drain pan, that I could really see. A little bit of material in the bottom of the pan itself, but it was very, very typical for an automatic transmission. It wasn't anything that I thought was going to be concerning. But I still sent it off just to be on the safe side. He said he went through it. Everything looked really good. He found a little bit of metal in it in a couple spots where I guess the fluid just kind of sits in there. It doesn't really get circulated very well in some of these areas. But he said otherwise, hey man, it looks beautiful. He just had to replace a couple of knick-knacky items on it. He didn't have to replace any of the steels, any of the clutches, any of the bands, none of that. And he tore the valve body apart, cleaned that all out. So I was talking to Precision Converter when they gave me the news about how bad a shape the converter was in, and I was explaining to them, well, there's a big old B. I think he's got numbers on his wings. I was explaining to them an issue that I had the last day that I raced it last year. And on my last two passes, now the car has a Silver Fox manual valve body in it with an overdrive that you turn off and on with a switch. So on my last two passes, I was going down the track, and when I would shift from second to third, the car was falling on its face. And it wasn't until after the second pass I figured out that the overdrive switch had been engaged. So the transmission was actually shifting from second to fourth. So I asked Precision if, damn, that freaking bee is huge. I asked Precision if they thought that that could have possibly contributed to the bearing failure. And they said it may have been a contributing factor. They can't say for sure. So I talked to my buddy who did my trans, and he kind of backed up what they said. He said, you know, it may have had some effect on it, but he can't say for sure. But anyways, so what turned out is a couple $100 refresh turned into a complete rebuild, which then also turned into a refresh on the trans. So that's where we're at for the converter and trans in 2025. Everything's good to go now. It'll be going in the car, and hopefully I'll see some improvement on my ET with raising the stall speed of the converter. It should leave harder. So that's it. But anyways, I just want to give you guys a little update. I thought that was kind of a major event in all of this, so I just wanted to put that out there so you guys knew what was going on. And that's it. So I'm going to get back at this project now that all the transmission stuff is behind me. I can get back to this, and hopefully I'll have this wiring wrapped up soon and have the car back on the road before we know it. All right? Okay, cool. All right, man. Thanks.